We're going to jump right into it today. We got a special in-studio guest, a lot of guests actually, from the Mainland Regional Girls Basketball Team. They're going to be playing Chatham tomorrow at noon up in Toms River for the state championship for Group 3. So Coach Scott Betson was kind enough to bring a bunch of his players in here today and also his kids. So we got a whole big group here in studio today, and we're going to be talking about tomorrow's game and really the whole season for Mainland. It's been an outstanding season, 27-3 right now. And going for the first state championship in school history. They were in the state championship one other time back in 1989 when I was a junior in high school. I'm sure you all saw that picture I posted on Twitter. So let's introduce some of the players we have in here today. We have seniors Claudia Marone, who else? Lauren Toner, Taylor Dalzell, and Jillian Gatley, and a couple of juniors in Kylie Watson and Maddie Hafitz. So right now at the microphone, we're going to kind of switch around and talk to all these players at some point over the next 15, 20 minutes. So, Claudia, welcome into the show. Don't be shy. Tell us about this season. And the interesting thing I found was there really was a lot of high expectations for this team, even though you guys were replacing 4 starters. Normally when you're replacing that many starters on a basketball team, it's kind of a rebuilding year. But you guys have been to the sectional final twice in a row. Before that, had lost Ocean City. What was the mindset coming into the beginning of this year? You knew you had a very good team and could really make another run at a sectional title.
Yeah, we were really excited coming into this season. This is the group that we've been playing with since like 3rd and 4th grade, so we knew like we all had team chemistry, and we really loved playing together. So we knew that we could make a run in the tournament. Also, I guess.
Now, when you're at practice, who hits more 3-pointers, you or Maddie?
Depends.
How competitive is that in practice? I mean, you guys are both great shooters and have made your names kind of as 3-point shooters. So, Maddie, I can't see you over the computer screen, but what's it like in practice? Do you guys kind of stay after sometimes and have a little 3-point shootout?
Oh, definitely, especially after games or before big games. We'll always stay after practice. Our coaches, some of our teammates will feed us some threes, and we just make sure we get extra shots in so we're ready for the next day.
What's your record for made threes in a row in practice?
I don't think it's that great, but
Claudia, what's this whole season been like? I mean, obviously you're a senior now. There's 4 seniors on this team, and you guys had come so close the last 2 years to winning the sectional final, kept running into really good Ocean City teams. Talk about that rivalry a little bit and what it was like to finally beat them this year in the sectional final. I mean, you guys are always going at it in so many different sports in the playoffs.
Yeah, we knew that coming into the Ocean City games were always going to be huge games, huge rivalries. But the past 2 seasons, I think, have made us stronger coming into this season. We were like, all right, like this is the 3rd time like we're going to do this. We're going to beat them. It's always a great game. It's crazy, you know. But we all have like so much heart and stuff, so we just really wanted to win. It was great that we did.
What was the feeling like when you finally did win that game? Because, like I said, the previous 2 years you had gotten to that point. Last year you were the favorite to win that game. You end up losing on a real close game. So much frustration for 2 straight years. What was it finally like to win that game?
We were very relieved, so excited, especially because it was a Saturday championship. We haven't done it since 1999, and to do it with these girls is just amazing. And to do it on our home gym against Ocean City was even better.
Maddie, talk about your season. I mean, you've been dealing with some injuries, I guess, with the back, and in a long season like this, the 30 games so far. How tough is it to go through that season, and when you're banged up a little bit? I know a lot of you girls have dealing with ankles, knees, lower back. Everything starts hurting after a while. How do you deal with that later in the season?
yeah, there's definitely a point in the season where before practice, every single one of us was in the training room trying to prep for practice. But we're so motivated to just keep going and just win. And because we want to win for each other, that's what we say. So no matter what, we're just kind of pushing through injuries, pushing through a lot of adversity.
Let's get a couple more of the seniors in here. Lauren, Jillian, step up to the mic here. If you're just joining us, welcome into the South Jersey Sports Report here on 97.3 ESPN. We have a bunch of players from the Mainland Regional Girls Basketball Team in studio here. They're getting ready for practice at 9 a.m., so they were kind enough to stop by and talk about their season so far. Going to be playing for the state championship tomorrow up in Toms River North High School against Chatham. So Jillian and Lauren, you guys have a difficult role here. You come off the bench and to spell some of these starters, and that's not an easy thing as seniors to accept that role and be good at it. How did you handle that coming into this season?
Well, we knew when we come off the bench, like we have to bring a spark and bring energy. So that's definitely important.
Go ahead, Laura.
Everyone from the bench contributes to the game as well if it doesn't seem like it. We always cheer our teammates on the floor, and when we are able to step foot on the floor, we have to give it our all because we're also playing, and when those girls step on the floor in the beginning, they give their all as well.
Is there a temptation to almost do too much when you're out there on the floor, maybe thinking, man, if I play really well for the next 2 minutes, he might leave me in there for another 2? How do you deal with that where you go in and you want to do so well for the time that you're in there, but you don't want to do things that are out of your skill set or maybe don't contribute to what the team's trying to do? So that's must be a tough thing to, especially in basketball, because you don't know, you might be in there for 20 seconds, you might be in there for 2.5 minutes, depending on who's in foul trouble, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Like I know for me, like when I go in, if I make a mistake, like I know I have to get it back on defense, like make a hustle play, and that's like my mentality going into it when we go in.
It's the same exact as Jill, but also practice helps as well. We're always practicing going in, and I think that really helps when we're in the games.
Now, Lauren, how much did it help for you to see your older brother go through varsity basketball and play in big games? I mean, as you're sitting there watching him in his career a couple of years ago, how much did you learn just by watching and how to conduct yourself on the varsity level? There's always people watching. You know, you have to present yourself in a certain way. You don't want to, if you make a bad play, hang your head or say bad words or anything like that. There's always kids watching and things like that. So there's a lot to think about when you're a varsity athlete.
He definitely went through kind of the same thing. He came off the bench, so that really helped, watching him. And he never got down when he made a mistake. He always got it back on defense, and I think that really motivated me. And outside of basketball, at my house, he always helped me practice. So I think all that contributed to my experience.
Now, Jillian, your dad is Mike Atlee, the athletic director at Mainland High School, and also a basketball junkie. What's it like when you're out on the floor? Is he constantly getting on your case about what you're doing wrong and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
and how does that work at home? Does he kind of let you have your own time at the basketball court, or when you get home, is he like, oh man, you should have done this better, you should have done that better, or is he real supportive? What's the relationship like when you're the basketball player and not just the daughter?
I mean, he's been a coach for so many years, so as soon as I step on the floor, I can hear him in the corner saying, do this, don't do that. And it's actually really helpful because they're just little reminders. And when I go home, he's always so supportive because he knows this is my last year and I'm doing what I can. And, yeah, he's just giving me motivation and little tips on little things.
Now, you girls are very good at other sports. Are you okay with the spring season starting a little bit later for you? I know, Jillian, you're in track, and Lauren, you're on the softball team, but still some basketball to go.
Yeah. I mean, preseason for track it's hard, so I'm kind of missing it because that's my training session, but I can always get back. This is more fun right now.
I definitely miss it. I've been talking to the girls about how practice have been going and the coaches, and they're all doing really well, and they're all excited for the season, and I'm just really excited for basketball right now. And then once that's over, just getting back into it will be fun as well.
What's this whole season been like for you girls? I mean, there's been so much support at all these games. The Corral Crazies, the community comes out and supports you guys. The dance team is going on all the away games, the trips all the way up to Deptford and that kind of thing. So how cool is that when everybody's getting behind you and really you're almost famous in town for a couple of weeks here?
Yeah, it's really fun, especially when we have our whole community behind us, supporting us 100%. They want us to win as much as we do.
It's definitely a great support, and during the games with them there cheering on, it definitely brings more energy to the game and helps us play better, so we always love them being there.
If you're just joining us, we have a couple of players from the Mainland Regional Girls Basketball team in studio here before they get over to practice at 9 a.m. at the high school, getting ready for tomorrow's state championship game against Chatham. They'll be playing at noon up at Toms River North High School. So we wanted to catch up with some of the players and kind of get their thoughts on the season and this playoff run. Let's bring a couple more players in here, Taylor Dalzell and Kylie Watson. We'll let them get situated. We also have Coach Scott Betson and his two kids. Where'd they go? They got picked up? All right. All right. So Kylie and Taylor, take us through this season a little bit. I mean, like we mentioned before with some of the other girls, a little bit of an interesting situation where there was a lot of expectations on this team, even though there was 4 new starters. Kylie, you were the only returning starter from last year. But it seemed to me like even though there was a lot of new players in the starting lineup, these are all players that had varsity experience, and you guys were ready to kind of take the next step with this team.
Yeah, I mean, there was no doubt in my mind, and I know there was no doubt in any of the other girls' minds that we would be able to accomplish a lot of great things this season. And I think we really showed that because of how far we've come and just the chemistry and how well we play together and how we're playing for each other. I think that's just a huge aspect to how well accomplished we've been so far.
Now, a lot of these girls, it's difficult sometimes to get a few words out of them after a game. They seem to be very quiet. Are they like that around the locker room or on bus trips?
Definitely not, especially after our last game. They're definitely a fun group of girls. They're really fun to be around.
How cool has this been for you, Taylor? I mean, these are girls that you've grown up with. You guys have all been playing basketball together since about the 3rd grade. And to have a playoff run like this, take me through what it's been like for the last 3 weeks for you guys.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty insane, to be honest. It hasn't really hit me yet that, like, we're here. It's tomorrow. Like, it hasn't hit me yet. But it's been great. We're all, like, family. So it really, when you're doing it with family, it's a lot easier.
Now, it's got to be extra special for you, particularly because you played soccer for 4 years and got so close to a sectional championship so many times. You did win the Cape Atlantic League tournament the first year they had that for soccer this year, but then lost it late in the playoffs. So 4 years of getting so close with the soccer team and 2 years of getting so close with the basketball team without ever winning the South Jersey. You finally win it this year. Now you're going to the state championship. Really couldn't have played out better for you and the rest of these seniors.
Yeah, it just goes to show you never want it to end. And especially because it's like our last year now, like you really don't want it to end. So, yeah.
What's been the most fun part about this whole senior year for you and some of these other seniors that also play other sports? I mean, Mainland has such great athletic programs, and to be part of these teams and to win so much and to be in all these big playoff games, how do you kind of put into context what this has meant to you as a young student athlete?
You can't really put it into words because I don't know. I just like my favorite part about it is like for how like our team got really close, but we also got close with a lot of other teams through it too. So I feel like we got more connected throughout like all of Mainland with everyone.
Now, Kylie, obviously you made Team USA after your freshman year. You've had a great career so far, and there's so much attention on you as a player from the other teams. What's that like to be that kind of player where every team is trying to stop you in particular? How do you handle that pressure of, do you feel like if I have a bad game, it's everything's going to come down on me? How does that work when you're 14, 15, 16 years old and sort of a statewide player that everyone knows?
I mean, it really just comes down to the girls around me, and every time that say I'm getting doubled or not having the best games, I know that they'll be there for me and they'll be able to knock down those big shots and make defensive stops to just really step up, and they've played great all season, and without them, we really wouldn't be here today. And I think a lot of teams don't understand how great these group of girls are and how good of basketball players and great people they are. So,
have you gotten any advice from your father? He's the football coach, Tim Watson, the football coach at Cedar Creek High School, been in some state championship games. What has he been telling you the last couple of days about how to handle the moment of being in the state championship game?
Yeah, I mean, a big thing that we focus on is that we're here with this group of girls, that this opportunity will pretty much never come again, and that he's really into like the mental psychology part of it all. And I know he works with that with his football players, and he's pretty much implemented it into me since I was like 10 years old. So I'm kind of used to it, and just he is huge on just like mental preparation. So like just visualizing and trying to get the other girls just to be mentally prepared. And I'm positive that we all are, and we really want to come out and win tomorrow.
Let's get we got a couple minutes left. Let's get Coach Betson up here real quick and take one of these seats. Just wanted to ask him, I know you guys got to get out to practice, and we got a break coming up. But, Coach, it's been just a tremendous year for you guys. And when you look at these girls here in the room in studio with us, Tell us what this team means to you. I mean, this is really a very close-knit group of girls, and the kind of team where whatever role you're asking somebody to play, it seems like there's never a second guess of hey, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. There's such great chemistry with this group. Talk about that a little bit and what it's been like to coach these girls for 30 games.
Yeah, this is a pretty special group. Obviously you can tell the connection that they have with one another. Just the way not only the way they play, but just the way they interact with each other. And you talked about embracing roles and things like that. But it's also, it's a special group for me. I had been coaching for a little bit as the head coach at Mainland while these guys were still in middle school. So I got to know them even younger than that, and I'm watching them here on the radio, and it's like watching my kids talk on the radio. So it's a pretty cool experience.
What's it been like just around town? Whenever a team does really well in the playoffs, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, that kind of thing, and you have your Mainland gear on, you go to Wawa, people, hey, good luck in the game, the state playoffs, and all this stuff, and it's got to be cool to ride that wave a little bit for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just there's a great energy in the building right now, and everyone's been really supportive. And it was made a little bit more fun by the boys went on a heck of a run in the playoffs themselves. So it was just a lot of positivity and a lot of support, and it's made easier by how likable these kids are. Everybody loves them as students too. So definitely helps add to that.
How cool was that when you had 3 straight playoff doubleheaders where you had the girls and boys kind of switching up the times and 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock games, and the whole community just packing that gym for a week straight? What was that like as just a basketball junkie, a basketball guy, to see that kind of thing play out where you were lucky enough to have both teams go in the same type of run?
It's great. We focused on process all year. It's kind of like our motto as a team this year. And one of the things I just kept reminding these guys of is just, while we focus on the process to get better, but also just enjoy the process along the way. Not a lot of kids play high school sports. Not a lot of kids get to play in environments like that. And so we were really fortunate to just be able to sit back and just kind of enjoy that every so often too.
I was able to get a chance to talk to Chatham coach Joe Gaba yesterday, doing a little preview for the game. And, he was kind of saying probably the same thing that you would say is, hey, we're at the state championship. Let's just go, leave it all out on the court. And, one team's going to win, one team's going to lose, and we're just going to have fun with it and see what happens. And there's always a lot of pressure when you get to this level, state championship game. You want to bring that home so bad for the fans and the families. How do you approach this day tomorrow with these girls? And, obviously, if you do lose, everyone's going to be crushed, and a lot of emotion goes into that. If you win, it's tremendous, but you kind of have to be prepared for either way, whatever. There's going to be so much emotion around this game, and as a head coach, you're kind of the guy who has to guide all that. So it's a lot on your plate.
I think a lot of that pressure is kind of self-inflicted. These guys kind of said the same way I feel. It's just, we're just preparing for I know it's cliche, but we're just preparing for the next game. We just keep our routines, and fortunately, we've been able to play in some pretty high-profile events over the course of the past couple of years. So I don't think that the stage will be too big for us or anything like that. It's just it's just the next game, and like you said, we're either going to play well and win, or we're not, and it may not go our way. But I know that these guys are going to play as hard as they can, and we'll feel good about that.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a fun bus ride up to Toms River tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Hopefully, it'll be a fun bus ride on the way back, too. So
yeah, definitely. We're all rooting for you here in South Jersey. We got to take a quick time out. We'll let these guys get off to practice. Appreciate the Mainland girls basketball team coming in and joining us here on the South Jersey Sports Report.